Hey again, everyone. Hi, my beautiful people. All right, my beautiful people. Now, this is something that we have to, I'd encourage every Jamaican, every human being to speak on, to preach on, to live out. Because sometimes we contribute to the mayhem in the society. Sometimes we contribute to our own difficulties and the difficulties of that of our families and our friends and our associates and those we encounter because of our attitude, our words, our actions. As human beings, boy, we're really flawed, We're really flawed. Oh my goodness, we are so flawed, it is not funny. And the grace of God, the Bible speaks about God not being quick to punish and to extend his wrath to us, because all I would have did, every last one away, not one would remain. And sometimes we like to judge and think that, oh, this one is more wicked than that. If we're to search ourselves, people, me can tell you, if you see me not do some things, I become really fear God. Me say, God, Jesus, no one want to do, Lord, help me not to do this, because I'm afraid of you. The Bible said, do not fear the man, do not fear nobody else but God. Because while everybody else, including the devil and him demons and people, dog, cat, puss and rat, while they can physically kill you, they can't kill the soul. But God can annihilate both the body and the soul. And it would be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So my dear beautiful people, sometimes, as they would say, we dig our own graves. And it might not be the physical grave as yet. It may be just the unnecessary difficulties in life that we never had to bring on. Trust me. And our regret tree is so high in the sky. You follow me? I'm in the book of Romans. Remember, I said to you people, I've tried to read the entire Bible. It's in its end. Obviously in its entirety. And I completed the Old Testament, and I'm now in the book of Romans. What chapter have I reached? No, I think it's because I read 14. I'm probably at chapter 15. But I want to permeate in your minds Romans 13, because this is a chapter that I find that people tend to not be aware of. Let us say it that way. Maybe they're aware of it, but somehow it's not in their muscle memory. It's not in their long-term memory. And I want it to get there, people, because I don't think we understand the seriousness of it. My beautiful people, it says duty, Romans chapter 13, duties towards state authorities. So let us relegate it to our country. We're talking JLP, PNP, the two primary parties. Presently, JLP is in power. So we're going to speak about them. So if PNP was in power, it's the same thing I would be talking about. So I don't want anybody to label me anybody, It says everyone, the very first verse in chapter 13 says, everyone must obey state authorities, because no authority exists without God's permission. So whether or not is man put them up there, whether or not it is a dog put them up there, a cat, a rat, or a puss, or whatever it is, a cockroach, none of them is put up there. None of them is actually put up there without God's permission. Whether it is his perfect will or not, because you have his perfect will, you have his permissive will, you have things that he will allow, for his glory ultimately. He will allow it for his glory ultimately. Remember, day is like, 1,000 years is like a day in God's sight. Much more one day. Much more one day. So God has patience. We don't know patience yet. God has it. Trust me. With the things when we see some people get away with, God definitely has patience. So you not because, even if it is his perfect will or not, or permissive will, if he allows it, he's expecting all of us to respect it. So you must obey state authorities. And when he says obey, obviously if they're telling you to do something that is illegal or immoral, you don't follow that. So he's talking within the confines of legality and morality. And when I talk about morality, you base it, you guise it off of the commandments. And he says again, let me repeat, everyone must obey state authorities because no authority exists without God's permission. And the existing authorities have been put there by God, whether perfect will or permissive will, people. Whoever opposes the existing authority opposes what God has ordered. And anyone who does so will bring judgment on himself, whether himself or herself. You know that, whether it's himself or herself. I remember when the COVID-19 pandemic hit Jamaica, in about March, thereabout, it was of 2020. And in about March, April, there was a guy, obviously he was not in Jamaica, Jamaican, and he was saying, he was being so derogatory and rude, his bad, when you heard him, come on, join you, what's it, not this and that, and come no, and say, what's it, not this, and he's talking about the Prime Minister, and he went on, and I said, I'm so sorry for this guy. He may think that he has gotten away, but there's a God who sits high and looks low. He's rude, it doesn't matter. Let us say, even if the Prime Minister was Jezebel's brother, whether or not you like him or whether or not you dislike him, whether or not you think he's evil, whether or not you think it is good, what that man went on with was rude and disrespectful. I'm not talking about the one in Jamaica that came back and he apologized. I'm talking, there was this one on social media there. And when you look at the background, you can see that did not look like Jamaica. He was in Jamaica. Right? And I'm saying to you people, whether or not you are JLP, PNP, or OPP, MOB, POB, it doesn't matter. Show respect, show honor to those who are in charge. And this one is definitely, it's relating primarily to like the governing body, the governing body of the land, the governing authority. And in this, obviously, it's JLP presently. And if PAP was in there, I would say the very same thing. We have to respect them and be careful of what we say. I'm not saying that you must agree with their every policy or principle that they may come with. You may not agree with. You can share that in a healthy way. You can hit out at it in a healthy way. You can. I'm not saying no. When Jesus was beating the money changers out of the church synagogue, because for him they were desecrating the house of God. You understand me? So you can hit out against things that you feel that are unjust, not right, not helping the people, not helping the country. Fine. Speak it on it. Nobody not stopping you. We have that God-given right. It's a democratic country. Do so. But be careful of how you do it. Do it in a respectful manner. Because if you were there, you would not want people to talk about you like that or speak to you like that and behave that manner. That man was passing place. In passing place, he may feel that he has gotten away. But there's a God who sits high and looks low. And his day of reckoning is coming. His day of reckoning is coming. Let me continue. For rulers are not to be feared by those who do good, but by those who do evil. In other words, they're there to make sure that the scammers and the murderers and all of that are dealt with in the right way, in the legal way. You understand me? So those who are law-abiding citizens, you really have nothing to worry about. You just go about your business, do what you should do within the confines of the laws of the land. Would you like to be unafraid of those in authority? Then do what is good. Just be a law-abiding citizen. Simple as that. And they will praise you, whether or not you get the literal praise by them. In other words, they may not necessarily come to you and your holiness might not come and say, well done, Toni-Ann Tamara Baker, well done, Jane Doe, well done, so-and-so, well done, whatever it is. But in other words, you keep out of prison, you keep out of the jail system and all of that. Or the frequent harassment of a police officer or whatever it may be. So you might not get the literal praise in that sense. So it says then do what is good and they will praise you because they are God's servants working for your own good, whether or not they are Christians or not. In other words, we have to put it this way, whether or not they are corrupt or not, they still have to follow. It says because they're God's servants working for your own good. But if you do evil, then be afraid of them because their power to punish is real. Yes, their power to punish is real. So you do wrong, you commit murder, you scam, you get caught, you'll be locked up, fined, imprisoned and all of that. Hard labor reach you. Your freedom is taken away. Democracy in a lot, in more ways than one will be taken away. They are God's servants and carry out God's punishment on those who do evil. And when there's literal God servants in terms of Christians, meaning God has already, allowed the appointment of them. So, it doesn't mean that they're literal Christians in some sense of the word. For this reason, you must obey the authorities, and it will obviously within the confines of the laws of the land. Not just because of God's punishment, but also as a matter of conscience, which is true. So it's not because, oh, me no want to go to prison, me no want to go to jail, me no want to pay this fine. Out of conscience, put yourself, if I were to go and rob that person, how would it affect them? Suppose somebody was to come and rob me, how would I feel? So you put yourself in the person's shoe. So that is why you will follow the laws of the land. That is why you pay taxes. Pay your taxes. Pay your taxes. Pay your taxes. When the Pharisees felt like they wanted to set up Jesus, they really were set him up, because, they came to him and said, looking at this money, in terms of taxes, what do you say? Jesus said, let me see the money. What you see on it? Him said, the emperor or Caesar. Then him say, give to Caesar what's due to Caesar. Give to God what's due to God. Like, really? Pay your taxes. So if you know that you're supposed to pay your taxes. Business people, whoever, pay your taxes. It's not right to not pay your taxes. You may feel you get away for a time. You understand? And don't worry about the unjust leaders. God will deal with them because they're scripture verses, it's a woe be unto those who lead my people astray. You understand me? So don't worry, there are scriptures for those people. That is why you pay taxes, because the authorities are working for God when they fulfill their duties. Pay then what you owe them. Pay them your personal and property taxes and show respect and honor for them all, whether or not it's your party or it's not your party. Be under obligation to no one. The only obligation you have is to love one another. And check the meaning of love. You are obligated to love each other. So therefore, what you like for yourself, you like for others. Do to others as you would have them do to you. Whoever does this has obeyed the law. The commandments: do not commit adultery. Do not commit murder. Do not steal. Do not desire what belongs to someone else. All these and any others besides are summed up in one command. Love your neighbor, which I said initially, as you love yourself. You're obligated to do that. You are obligated to love me. I'm obligated to love you as how I love myself. If you love others, you will never do them wrong. To love then is to obey the whole law. You must do this because you know that the time has come for you to wake up from your sleep. For the moment when we will be saved is closer now than it was when we first believed. The night is nearly over. Day is almost here. Let us stop doing the things that belong to the dark. So the evil things, the secret things that you're doing that is not good, that is not of God, that is not righteous. You know them. Day of reckoning is, be careful. And let us take up weapons for fighting in the light. Talking about the armor of God. Put on the armor of God, the fruit of the Holy Spirit, the beatitudes that Jesus spoke about in St. Matthew 5, 1 to 12. And even going down to when it's the 13 and further down speaks about be the salt of the earth. Let us conduct ourselves properly as people who live in the light of the day. No orgies, no drunkenness. You ever deal with somebody who is a drunkard? I know of somebody who spoke about that. It's like the crackhead and the cokehead. Oh God, you don't want that. You don't want that, people. No immorality or indecency, no fighting, no jealousy. But take up the weapons of the Lord Jesus Christ and stop paying attention to your sinful nature and satisfying its desires. So not because you feel like you want to do some bad or so it means that you must do it. Self-control. Self-control. Ask God to help you. That is also a fruit of the Spirit that is tough, that many of us lack. Self-control. We can do it if we put our minds to it. Don't you know who to frighten, you know? For example, if you work somewhere and your boss is disrespecting you and shouting at you and behaving the most way, even if you so-called answer back or retaliate, it's going to be very controlled, and you might say, boss, why are you talking to me like this? Sir, I don't understand, or ma'am, I don't understand, whatever. Or you may not say anything. You might just take it and huff and puff and go on and grumble and complain to some other co-worker, to some family member, to some friend. But you're not going to disrespect because your job is on the line. There's something at stake, so you're not going to do it. So you're able to have that self-control because don't you know who to frighten. You understand me? So just as how you're able to control yourself if your boss disrespects you and puts you down in front of others and makes you look small and incompetent, and you control yourself and you're not rude to your boss because you don't want to lose your job or make it difficult for you to get another, control yourself otherwise. Control yourself when you're dealing with somebody who has no clout, somebody who, you know, can neither put bread or food on your table or whatever it is. Control yourself, because if you can do it with them, it's just the embassy is a prime example. When you go to the embassy, if they say pull out it, they pull it out before they even want to say, almost ask them, anything else you need me to do, sir or ma'am? When embassy is a perfect example of doping over frightened. When I see how the worst attitude type of Jamaican go in there, how they conform. So we can do it. We can do it. We don't have to wait because this is at stake why we conform. Do it because it is right. Do it as though somebody's doing it, demonstrating it to you. Say, if it was me, how would I want this person to act? Respect the leaders of the land. You don't have to agree with everything that they say. You can air on your grosses in a respectful manner. You can protest in a respectful manner, but don't disrespect them. It's not right. It is not godly. God is going to hold you in contempt or in judgment. Have a good one, my beautiful people. Love you. Have a wonderful day.